one main thing. I didn't ignore that the Jewish people have the right to live side by side with us as a Palestinian. Listen, I born in a city called Nablus. You know Nablus?
Yes, I know Nablus.
Yes. We live side by side as a good neighbors, Muslims and Christians and Jews. Can you ignore that?
No, I believe you're correct. Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
We live side by side. We have no problem. Until you came.
Until who came?
The occupation came. You got
what occupation? What occupation?
Your occupation.
Explain it to me. So did you ask a Jew to get on this app? Hold on. Did you ask a Jew to get on this?
Ignore that.
Did you listen? Did you ask a Jew? Holy, shut the. You're gonna get shot in the face again, bro. I don't like pulling out my gun. Did you ask a Jew to get on this app tonight? Did you ask permission to get on this app tonight? Did we occupy your home? Did we hand you a cell phone and say you're allowed to use it tonight to be on the Clubhouse? So you did that on your own free will because you make your own money?
Of course you did.
Okay, you're not an honest character. You're just a liar. Okay, next. Brutality, you're back. Okay. Please explain to us what the difference between Jew and Jewish is. Brutality.
I'm back.
Yeah, okay. Can you please explain the difference between Jew and Jewish and explain to me as I'm a young Jewish man on the difference between Jew and Jewish?
Jew and Jewish. The difference between Jew and Jewish. I mean, obviously, Jew, when you see Jew and you actually go to like the Ethiopian Bible, the Jews and all that, you'll see that these people are people with melanin skin. They got dark skin, brown skin, different shades of brown. They're Jews. I'm saying it's all different shades of brown.
So where are the Jews born? Where are the Jews born?
Why don't you think that out? We'll talk to you.
Okay. Honestly, you're gonna get shot. You just got shot. Where are the Jews born? Brutality.
You said where were the Jews born?
Yeah. These ones that you're talking about that are black, brown skin. Where were they born? Where are they from?
You said the Jews had a black, brown skin.
You said that. I'm repeating what you said. I'm asking you the question.
I'm saying.
So don't repeat it like I said it.
I'm referring to my head. I'm saying, referencing it back in my head of what I said.
Okay.
I mean, obviously, that's just, from
it's not. You're making statements, bro.
From my knowledge, I was told that, Jews are black and Jewish is white. I'm saying,
who told you this? Who told you this? Who told you?
Who told me this?
Quit denying his Jewishness, you Jewish people.
The black is.
Who told you this, sir?
I didn't fucking tell. Yeah, black Jews here, dude.
Blacks are the real Jews. You guys are bigots. Why are you trying to steal the one thing black people have, which is Judaism? You guys are.
Well, call me a punk when you end it. It's okay. But listen, call me punk.
Damn.
No, but listen, brutality. So the Jews are the ones that are black, dark skin, and with big dicks. And the Jewish people.
I ain't say all that.
I thought because they're black, they'd have bigger dicks. But anyways, the Jewish people. So the Jewish people, they're lighter. Is that what you're trying to say?
I mean, Jewish. You understand ish? The ish.
No.
Ish.
No.
You understand what the ish means? Like ish means
like Danish.
You're
I like
Jew,
it.
but not really Jew.
Danish.
You're not really Jew. That's why they got Jewish.
Do you like Swedish fish? I like Swedish fish also.
No, he likes sweet fish. He likes sweet fish.
The ish means it's almost like that, but it's not that. You know what I'm saying? Ish.
Oh,
like,
so are the Danes? Are the Danes not really Danes? If they're Danish, are they not really Danes? Are the Swedes not really Swedes? If they're Swedish?
I love y'all.
Can
someone ping
Ish in here?
I love y'all.
Come to Ish. I don't want to talk to Ish in forever.
He takes breaks and comes back.
Why is this Jewish woman talking while this Jew is talking?
Because, Pepe, you never told me if you went to Chompies. Speaking of this subject, you had an assignment. Didn't I give you homework, Pepe?
Oh, yeah, I didn't go. I'm too lazy.
Okay, you were supposed to report on the mishmash, which is ish.
Ish soup, that's right. It has matzo balls. The only time I've had matzo, well, we did Passover once with my ex when I was in college, but the only time I've ever had it is mishmash soup.
This explains everything. Pepe got his heart broken by the beautiful Jewish girl.
No, it's fine.
It's okay.
Hold on. Does that mean Pepe's kind of Jewish now?
Well, he will be after he gets the mishmash suit. It makes him
Oh.
kind of an ish.
Okay, now we can hear you. Go ahead. Steph.
Makes him ish adjacent.
Yeah.
Steffi, we didn't hear you. Anyways, Puria, what's going on? How are you?
Oh, no, because Pepe's prior girlfriend was Jewish. I just thought that meant he almost became Jewish.
No. She was it wasn't destined to last. She was quite a bit more left-leaning than I was, and
I mean, if Pepe's girlfriend
She's more dominant. She's more dominant.
no, she wasn't.
I think she's a little more dominant. Did she,
No,
did
she
she
wasn't.
say submit?
No. No. She was a sweet girl. She passed away.
Oh my
Not while I
God.
was dating her, but she did like a
How'd
year
she
after.
die?
She was in the back of okay, so she had her ex-boyfriend from high school, and we'd run into him all the time. He had a new girlfriend, and I knew his girlfriend because she was friends with some of the guys I lived with in the dorm. But senior year, she was on the back of his motorcycle, and they both from what I heard, he was intoxicated. I learned that years later, but they both ended up hitting the side of a brick house, and they both died.
Damn, that's sad.
Yep.
Sorry
That's
for
so
your loss,
fucked
Pepe.
up. I'm sorry to hear that. That's fucked up.
Apologize, Pepe.
It's cool.
You know what we haven't heard from, unless you guys did, I didn't hear, from Pro. How you doing, Pro?
What's up, boss?
What's up, buddy? What do you think about the title of the room, my friend?
Beautiful.
What do you, yeah, thank you. What do you think about, like, do you think religion is the biggest problem coming out of Iran today? Israel intertwined with the United States, they're linked together. Do you think that they're solving this problem?
Anything America does, I support in Israel. I'm one of those.
Oh, so you're a good person.
Yeah, if you say that, then that's what I am. Thank you.
Awesome. Because you believe what's happening today is going to be a better tomorrow for our children?
Definitely.
That's awesome. It's, yeah. I got really no smoke for you. But I want to know more on, do you find that there's an uprising in anti-Semitism? And let's be fair, anti-Semitism and Islamophobia, what do you think's higher?
Anti-Semitism.
Anti-Semitism's way fucking higher.
Absolutely.
Islamophobia was common.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say anti-nudism is also.
Yeah, anti-Semitism is bad.
Jews got, I would say, like, anti-Semitism came from multiple angles. And it was, because, I was in, like, more, like, far-right spaces. And so I was never one of the, like, JQ people. There's people that harp about the Jews and have, like, a lot of them are just conspiracy theorists or Nazis. But I do remember, like, you kind of had to go out of your way to find those people. And then, like, God, I would have never thought, like, a few years later, it started becoming, like, pretty popular, like, mainstream, a lot of that stuff. And this is before October 7th. And then after October 7th, you saw, that's, like, and right before October 7th, you had Kanye, you had all of this shit, and Kyrie Irving. And then it just started, so it got, like, multiple populations, or groups. So it was like you had it with the blacks, you had it with people on the right, you had it with, of course, people that were on the left, and then it just kind of bloomed everywhere, and it's kind of like it went very mainstream. And it seems like it doesn't matter really what your community is, like racially or ethnically or which political leanings you have. You're gonna have, like, there's gonna be a lot of people that I guess are anti-Semitic,
The question is what's the next step that they do? That was what was happening in the room last night. when the guy just went off about the schools and the school boards, and I said, what are you going to do? Or a mechanic gives a broken car and they're a Jew. He said, well, help them. So the next step is acting out on it and acting out an actual prejudice. I kept saying, let's take the word Jewish out and put the word black in, and imagine if I just said that. And the fear is that you go to that next level of actually discriminating and doing an act of discrimination, not selling your house to someone, not hiring someone, or that's competent because of that, or not waiting on someone in a restaurant or whatever. It's the next step, and then the step after that is when you actually commit harm, like physical harm. So and there's different kinds of harm, but that was what was the weird part last night. Talking to that guy, I wish someone who's on stage was in the room and heard it.
Well, I think that just my personal opinion. I think Jews in America, fuck it. I'll say in the West have been trying to fight this in a way that's making people. And I'll just say it, and I sincerely mean this. In a way that will only turn people against you, and I cringe when I look at it. And even I think that it's way, way over the top. And
Can I tell you why, bro?
Sure.
So the Jews that I know and I surround myself around, they say no more trembling knee Jew. They believe that the Jew that's soft and wants to do things politically correct and just keep quiet is no more.
We're talking about something totally different. We're talking about
I'm telling you, and I understand. So Jews are becoming aggressive in their way to fight anti-Semitism, and which attracts people to say "fuck you," and they're like, "Good, at least we got it out of you, and we know where you stand." Instead of having these anti-Semites hide.
I'm not talking about what tough guys. I'm not talking about what tough guys would do. I mean,
no, it's not tough guys. You have women, strong Jewish women. Are pulling it out of people, because the problem is with anti-Semitism is that people will sit there right beside you and lie.
Maybe he's not talking about that. He's talking about the reforms and the legislation.
Yes, exactly. That's what I'm talking. Okay, look, I don't think Jews should be pussies.
My fault.
That like when anti-Semitism was popping up a lot on this app. See, I was used to arguing with the Nazis and the JQ obsessed peoples. We thought there's a lot of people that were kind of like in those circles who kind of thought like, oh God, here's this guy going on. He's going to start spurging out about Jews. And, it was just, the debates never went anywhere. They could never prove their Jewish conspiracy theories. And now, so I was kind of like, a lot of the people that were spitting out the anti-Semitic shit, I could tell they had just learned it. And so it was pretty easy to dunk on them. But when it comes to fighting back, I think that's a good thing, but not when it comes to the legislation and stuff. There's a couple of reasons why. Number one, you've had Israelis come on national TV here in the United States and say, in order to, I won't do the Israeli accent, but in order to save the First Amendment, we need to limit it. And just stupid, absurd shit. And I think the IHRI definition or IHRA definition is of anti-Semitism is way too fucking vague. Way too. A lot of people have a problem with it, including myself.
What part of it do you have a problem with it? First of all, it's an advisory statement. You know that it's used as an advisory statement. But what specific sentence in it do you have a problem with?
So when it came to, even in the context of religion, you couldn't, I feel like you could have,
read it. You read the words. Okay, don't, I don't mean to put you through this, but yeah, I'll send it to you.
I'll have to look it up and come back to it.
So that's the,
but then there's also,
facts.
Sure, and then there's also the BDS laws. I have a problem with them for a reason too, because I don't think that you should. I understand it has to do with state, people that are going to have contracts with the government, but I still, it's a little invasive for my liking. But then especially what we saw in foreign countries that don't have, the constitutionally protected free speech.
What the fuck, Max?
Stop Anti-Semitism Act they instituted in Australia, I think is fucking horrible. They've arrested so many people, I think, just for saying shit like river to the sea. Now, I understand that's an offensive, thing to say, but I think anybody in the Western world should get for chanting that. No, you just document it, and if that person has to look for a job someday, I mean, that shit's gonna follow.
How are they arresting people for saying? Could you cite a case where they actually arrested someone for because people?
She in the Matrix?
Yeah, Abby, you went into the Matrix.
Bro, look at Pepe. Look at the link I just posted. The X link.
Neighborhood
Netanyahu's
dressed
son.
up as a Nazi. But if you
You were in the Matrix. We didn't hear what you said for a good 20 or 30 seconds.
Yeah, if you start over, it'll probably be better. But look at his bio, Pepe. It literally says, from the river to the sea, this flag is all you see. Now, why is it wrong when the Palestinians do it, but not?
Jack, you say it all the time. And you can say it. You can say it.
Abby,
Nothing's
you were in the
stopping you from
Matrix.
saying it. What I was saying,
So,
in the Matrix.
no, you're good now. But if you want to start, because we didn't hear anything you've been saying for
I was saying it's not in our country. It's absolutely perfectly legal for you to say that, for you to dress up as a Nazi and go marching in front of my house. You can do that. However, if you do that combined with some act of aggression towards me, it's different. If you do that and you couple that with an act of discrimination, it's different. But you have every right in this country to, if you want to hate, you can hate. No one's going to stop you. You constitutionally are protected to hate. If you take that hate and you couple it with a crime or with a discriminatory action, it's different. So if that car mechanic who works for, let's say he's at, what's the big muffler company, one of those muffler places, and someone comes in and he refuses to help them because they're a Jew, it's different than him just hating on Jews. He does an act that's different. But you can say river to the sea. I know what it means. I know what I take it to mean. But you can say it here. You can dress up. Look, what other countries do is they're, and who knows if the person got arrested and what was the context of it? Where were they? Were they in front of a government building? We have laws, by the way. There's certain things you can't do in certain facilities. You can't have certain political statements in certain places. Some commission meetings don't allow political slogans. I mean, we have some boundaries on that, but by and large, you can have all the hate you want.
Germany, you can't say that.
Yeah, in Germany you can't, but we don't live in. And they,
I get it.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying, Abby, is that okay? First of all, Jews don't just live in America. I understand it's the second largest population, but they do live in Canada. They do live in
right.
We have a small
and they're
number
getting
of them in
fucked in
Australia.
Canada pretty royally. Canada's a bad place.
But in Canada, they're trying to institute, or implement these very, and it's in their news up there. They're like, well, maybe for safety, we need to curtail some of our freedoms, which might make folks feel uncomfortable. And it's like, dude, seriously, you don't.
Canada is all about Islamophobia.
Anybody.
Ask Bibi. It's all about Islamophobia in Canada.
Yeah, I know. And fuck you. You should be able to burn.
Islamophobia? You think people in
No,
here
you should be able to burn. this is where the cultural differences stand out. So, like, I can burn an American flag in a Bible, and Christians will, like, pray for me. Maybe I'll get punched up. It's possible. Do it to a Jewish flag and or
If someone burned a Quran in front of me, I'd be furious at them. Okay? I think that's wrong.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you may feel if someone burned the New Testament or burned a Quran in front of me, shame on them.
Shame on them, but it's legal.
Of course it's legal. Of course it's legal. But you're asking me morally how I feel. I think it's wrong to do that to someone's book. The same thing if they desecrated a Buddha.
Abby, I wouldn't show up.
How dare they do?
I wouldn't show up. Like, I don't hate Jews. I wouldn't show up to anyone's house in a uniform.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
Hey, I didn't think you would, Jack. I'm just saying one could do that, and they're not breaking the law.
Yeah, Jack couldn't do it, but he pays somebody to do it.
No.
Read the Skokie. Read the. However, Jack, if you decide to circle around my temple 4 or 5 times dressed that way, we are going to pick you up. We're license plate readers. And we're going to, at that point, flag you.
A lot of my business partners are Jewish. I have Jewish friends.
I'm not accusing you of it. I'm saying read the Skokie case.
I do think so, Abby. I do think that, like what Jews are doing is good in terms of protecting them. It sounds like the security situation they had there at that Reform synagogue, the big one in Michigan, because of they had armed guards and
we trained them.
I don't know what. And I don't know what kind of fortifications they might have had, but a lot of lives, were likely saved. I mean, I think you guys should do everything to protect yourselves because I'm completely against terrorism and harassing people because of their identity. Like that, you're just a lowlife at that point.
Dude,
but by the way, we should train the mosques. We should train the mosques the same. Okay.
USPS driver kicking a Jewish kid in the face. And
bro, I seen that. It was like a 5-year-old kid.
So that was horrible. One of the most disgusting. And I seen the body cam footage of the shit you were talking about.
Islamic guy.
It was crazy as fuck.
But you know what? The mosques should be protected too. And the archdiocese better have those Catholic churches protected. I mean, we're the ones having the armed guards in front, but faith is under attack generally.
But I'll say this: this is right now. I would say
armor trained the mosques anymore than they've already trained. That's not going to happen.
So I would say this though: this is largely a culture war. The rise in anti-Israel and anti-Semitic stuff. I mean, I think even Netanyahu over the summer had commented on how this is going to be our biggest fight. I've heard a lot of pundits talk about that. About how do they change the sentiment of Americans or try to reverse the attitudes and opinions of Israel and Jews.
Well, you say to a clubhouse room that synagogue in Michigan doesn't plan the military moves of the state of Israel, nor does it get planned out of my synagogue or the kosher market I went to today. We don't do military strategy for the state of Israel. So why someone's attacking an American citizen, a Jewish American citizen, who's just trying to pray or eat a meal in a restaurant makes absolutely no sense.
It does
and
make
it's illegal.
sense. Does make sense. You have a guy.
Makes sense to you?
Yeah, you have a guy that's from Lebanon that had I'd say either one or two brothers killed by Hezbollah and his niece and nephew, and he probably thinks like Hezbollah, and he's probably he's a fucking terrorist. Now, what would a terrorist do? And he's been in this country for a few years. I mean, we shouldn't have let the guy in the fucking country to begin with.
Bro, I met that guy, by the way. I didn't even know I met him until recently. I met him.
How did you meet him? Come on, seriously?
No, I'm not even joking. I got the chills when I found out. So I met him the first time I ever went to Dearborn to order food. And I went to get a shawarma at this place called Hamido's. And this guy was the manager. And I'm talking to him about my first time in Dearborn. Man, I'm excited to be here and see all the shit. And he was telling me, yeah, I'm from Lebanon, blah, blah, blah. It's nice here. Things are great. I was shocked when I found out It was just really, I'm still like tripping.
I mean, he's not. That guy was.
That's just
That guy
crazy.
was not a homegrown American terrorist. Like this guy was. I think this was largely imported and it affected his brothers and his family personally, and he had that ideology.
Officers, yeah. I mean, wow, that's crazy, Jack.
I know, dude. I literally got the chills. Even right now, I still trip thinking about it. He's literally the only person I talked to the whole time I went to Dearborn.
But I'm gonna be realistic. I know you guys are people.
Was
just
he
like,
off though, Jack? Was he off a little bit?
No, he's just doing his work, dude. And talking to me about fucking Dearborn. It's crazy.
I would say this. I know that you guys aren't a monolith and you can't control. Like I can't control like what white Gentiles, for example, American Gentiles will say. There's obviously those that will say crazy shit, but like if you guys could get rid of Jonathan Greenblatt, Rabbi Shmuley,
Rabbi Shmuley needs to he's horrible. He's horrible. I don't think anyone, supports him. I mean, I can't imagine. He's all.
But you have to understand, he's the
And
rabbi.
Greenblatt more turning more, I don't want to say conservative, but less left. He's had a lot of pressure on him to let go of, and in some of the sectors of that organization is very, very left-leaning, and as a result, other organizations, I'll just give you like internal politics, other organizations have popped up doing the same, not as good a job because their Center for Extremism is pretty intense, but other organizations have gotten relied upon because people got so turned off because they leaned so far left, and they're definitely moving in a more center direction, and I mean, I'm thrilled that they are, because when they're focused, and they're focused as again like the Center for Extremism, they really can track it and find it, and they don't just their work was not just in our community. It was worked a lot actually with other ethnicities as well. But I agree with you on him. I just can tell you from what I'm reading and listening to him, I think and knowing what happened with their board. They had a readjustment.
Well, I'll just say this: he's one of those people that he would do this coalition building. And by the way, right-wing Jews for years that I've talked to, they can't fucking stand Jonathan
No one liked him.
But he would do this coalition building where it's kind of like, oh yeah, white male, yeah, the status quo, yep, fuck those people, they're the cause of all the, yep, we're gonna really focus on them. And it's kind of like, all right, all right. It's kind of funny because like you kind of see the same dilemma ends up happening after October 7th. It's like, no, shut your fucking mouth, Jew. You're a white colonizer supporting a white colonizer state in Israel and killing a bunch of Browns. Fuck you.
Do you know who Abe Foxman is? Have you ever heard that name?
He was a former leader.
I have an issue with Abe Foxman.
He focused more on Jews, which I think are.
Yeah, I mean, he has an interesting history also, like his family history and everything. But, I mean, people liked him a lot more. I think Greenblatt was an Obama guy.
He was an Obama guy, literally.
He was in that whole Obama ecosystem, and all the people who got hired at the ADL were progressives, and they started saying all sorts of ridiculous progressive shit, which is aggressive. And we were all like, what the fuck is going on at the ADL? And,
Stop giving him money.
I hate that guy. He should have been replaced. It's a miracle. I don't understand how he still has his job, and I think he's just like anybody who's in a political position. He's playing the game of saying what he's saying, and we don't actually know what he actually believes. And he said it so many times that the biggest threat to Jews is the far right, which of course was completely disconnected from reality. He's a liar, and he's a danger to our community because he's a liar. Fuck that guy.
I would say this is one of the things. This is, and he was kind of echoing something that thoroughly fucking annoyed me about the people in his line of work. Is that he was saying, now obviously Trump has free agency. So do all of our politicians. So does everybody in America. Now, in my opinion, which I think it's been thoroughly, I mean, from all of the major publications, Israel and a lot of the people that are very staunchly Zionist were really encouraging Trump to take action in Iran. He did it. But I have to listen to Jonathan Greenblatt saying it's anti-Semitic to say that, Israel was somehow encouraging this, or not. He didn't say encourage. He said something else. It's like, dude, really? I mean, it's so easily like we can see like who's going to benefit the most from Iran going down. Like literally, Hamas probably wouldn't have been able to do what they did if it wasn't for Iran. Hezbollah could not, launch their rockets and do the shit they do if it wasn't for Iran. And of course, if it wasn't Iran, they wouldn't be sending rockets right now. We all know Iran is Israel's biggest threat. It's a no-brainer. But to say it's like anti-Semitic to even suggest that Jews or Zionists had made a compelling argument to urge Trump to do it. Kind of just ridiculous.
What do you mean?
Miss Abby, when you get a chance, can I ask you a question?
Sure. Now, hopefully I'm not in the Matrix. Go ahead.
It's kind of off topic, but do you know, any of you guys know when the UFC is going to come to the White House?
Yes, I do. I know a little bit about it. I know it's going to be
please tell me.
fucking impossible to get tickets. It's only going to be maybe 5,000 seats, 6,000 seats max. When they build the facility, everyone here is all over it in Vegas. Like everyone's kissing up to everyone we know at the UFC.
Do you blame them?
No, I can't blame them, but I don't know how they're going to divvy that out. Politically, how those tickets are going to go. I'll know more. Actually, I can give me a few hours and make a phone call to someone and find out a little more about it. But I know some serious connected people that think they're not getting tickets.
Well,
if that helps, so you don't feel so bad.
Well, in the veterans community, we was hearing, if you had a Purple Star, if you got, combat action ribbon, all
that
stuff,
could be. That makes more sense. But that makes sense.
That's what we was hearing. Yeah, because I guess from what we was hearing in the veteran community that active duty or individuals that got Purple Hearts or whatever, they can go there, I guess, because they're going to do a ratio of active duty veterans and obviously House members and Senates, etc. But I was just curious if you knew.
I think it's going to be donors. I think it's going to be on the political side. I think that makes sense what you're saying with like certain veterans, and then I think it's going to be political donors. And in terms of Dana White and who he has in his entourage, it'll be obviously top brass in the UFC and some of the bigger players here, in Vegas. But tried to do this, and I literally know this company really well. It was like my friends work there. My girlfriend's husband runs it, and everyone's been all over everyone trying to get tickets. And I think they don't know right now much, so there's a lot of evasiveness on the answer. I haven't asked. I asked about a month ago, but I am happy to find out more about it and let you know. I think it's.
Thank you, Miss Abby.
It's going to be I thought the Pacquiao-Mayweather fight was a hard ticket. This is going to be probably the hardest ticket.
They're not gonna let Car or Purple Hearts in unless it's like you've got the silver, bronze stars, or you've got.
Those guys
guys will automatically get in, but you're not. Wait, hold on. So like a Purple Heart, like I mean, there's guys on this app that got a Purple Hearts for jerking off too hard while they were overseas. So I mean, you know, they give them out like Tic Tacs these days. So
I think they may have like a viewing, also like a viewing, I don't want to say party or a viewing area that will be over in like an adjacent building by the White House, like in where there's a venue. I'm thinking like the DAR, I forget what that's called. There's a the DAR auditorium that's right there. Like maybe they'll use that. I have a feeling they're going to do something like that. But I will tell you, if you've never been in DC or in DC for July 4th is always fabulous. But this year, if you can get to DC or Philly and be in one of those cities for July 4th, it'd definitely be worth it.
I mean, you live in Vegas, which is like probably has at any given time the most like professional fighters per capita.
Yeah,
just for the pro boxers I've known, like from Arizona, everybody has had to do training camps there.
It's funny, Pepe. There's such a rivalry between Top Rank in the boxing and with UFC. Like there's always this joke about it, and at some of the charity events here, they kind of play off of each other. Like one will bid, they'll have like a live auction and they'll outbid each other and stuff. But I did want to say that the UFC just started a boxing section, a division. Do you know about this?
Yeah, I've heard about that, but I know a lot of the boxing community didn't. So boxing's I was never a pro. So if you were to look at pro boxers, most of them make absolutely nothing. It's just there's a very select few that are exceptionally rare and gifted that can make a lot of money. But the UFC has been.
Pepe, can I get 10 seconds?
Kind of my guy? Sure. We've looked at the UFC is very the way they pay their fighters out. I would say even a lot of the boxing promoters are known for being pretty. I mean, what the fuck is that guy? The guy with the crazy hair, the black dude. I forget his name. He was. Yeah, Don King. He was always known as being pretty predatory, but I mean, UFC they were a lot worse. And I don't know. I think that's why a lot of people are very skeptical of.
He did a cool thing though, Don King, in that he started the women boxing stuff. Like he promoted Chrissy Martin and some of the women boxers. I mean, he kind of is interesting.
Most of us don't respect women's boxing.
Well, I guess I was just curious about, and I was wondering what the pregame would be, and.
You mean the undercard? The undercards?
Well, like leading up to it, like I was hearing some people talk about it, and I was thinking, dude, what would be cooler than like a pre-game, like a pre-spectator before the big event night, having all the branches pick one of their best boxers or UFC fighters and really tag it. Ain't nothing better than watching. Like Brad knows what I'm talking about. Intercompany branch fights where you'll have like I saw this in Bagram. We would have what's called like morale night, where you would pick like your company's dominant fighter, and you'll have a boxing match with another company. And I think that'd be kind of something cool. Let the branches do it out.
I heard they started doing away with that though, and like we would there's only one time I've experienced that where I never with them, but they would. Even these are young men. They're in the military. They want to fight and all of that stuff. But I mean, it's like
the state of Israel.
The protesters are like Israeli agents.
The Sufis have very nice music. The Sufis have very nice music.
Well, the Sufis are human beings who believe we are God. There is no God outside nature.
Oh, wow. You guys are great, okay? Go advertise your religion. Go advertise it.
I don't proselytize because I'm a Sufi, and every language of God is just as good as any other language.
Thank you.
Human ego creates all this bullshit in the name of organized religion, including your version of so-called.
Can you imagine if you believe in God, what you could make of your? Can you imagine if you be your God yourself? Well, how?
When Sufis, when Mansur Halad said we are God, it's everything in the universe is sacred. It's the body of God.
Yeah, we're gonna pivot.
I'm very scared of you believe in God yourself.
Okay, we're gonna pivot from this. Thank you. Looks like if Iran flattens Israel, I think STI is back in New York. I don't think he's ever gonna go back. Do you have insurance on your property if Iran bombs the shit out of your house inside Israel? I mean, in the settlement area of the West Bank. And change your voice quality to low so you can use it. I know you're stealing neighbor's Wi-Fi. Maybe you're getting little, smaller signal. Maybe you're not getting like a strong signal when you steal, Wi-Fi. That's what happens. So you have to be careful. Go down on the quality of the voice, please. So STI apparently claims to be anti-Zionist, yet he has the property in the West Bank. Like, what kind of make it make sense? Such an idiot.
You have to understand the Orthodox mindset. They're not Zionists because Israel is a secular state, right? They don't really care for it. But they take advantage of the opportunity to be able to buy land, holy land, right, and to live there. But they don't want to participate in the secular state.
Wait, you just said Israel is a secular state?
Yeah.
That's a complete lie.
No, it's a secular state as in, it's not the theological laws. It's not applying the halakha. It's not applying their version of Sharia.
But you must be not Israeli. You must be Jewish in order to rule the country, right? So that's
not true. There's no law that says
that's true. Yeah. Can you be Muslim?
There's no law.
Wait.
Yes, technically a Muslim can become a prime minister. Yes.
That's completely. So why?
Yes, show me the law.
Since the inception of the Israel, why never happened?
Yeah, just because it never happened, that doesn't mean that it can't, or it's illegal.
So unwritten law, right?
Not exactly. No, it's just that 80% of the when 80% of the population is Jewish, obviously, dude. When 80% of the population is Jewish, obviously,
so yeah, that means that
80% of the people are not gonna left. Yeah, but there's no actual law that says that.
That's exactly what I meant. Like I said, unwritten law. They operate in a realm of the way that no one can, practicing any other religion and become a prime minister.
Dude, I don't want to get into this. The point is, Arash, that it's not a theological state. They're not applying the halakha, their version of Sharia.
Yeah,
and that's what they mean by a secular state.
Yeah, they're not, they don't actually believe in God.
Yeah, that's why Steve doesn't really care about Zionism or the state of Israel. But he uses it as an opportunity.
Israel is as Jewish as is the regime in Iran Islamic. As is the KKK Christian. The regime in Iran is as Islamic as the genocidal state of Israel claims to be Jewish.
That's completely uncomparable. You are comparing two different things, and what has nothing to do with each other.
Wait, the regime in Iran is Islamic, in your opinion?
Yeah, in some way, yeah.
Is that why it builds its own people? Is that why there is an oligarchy in Iran?
Because you see everything like binary. It's not binary.
No, I don't see everything as binary. I am.
You see, if they are Muslim, they have to act like this way. But there is everywhere there is flaws, and they cannot implement 100% Islamic laws.
Well, who gave them the right to implement Islamic law?
Because the majority of the countries, they are Shia 12 or 92%.
Then why are they afraid of a referendum? Ask the people of Iran, do they want it?
They cannot have a referendum every 40 years that anyone asking for a referendum.
People in the Khomeini said back then, the people that was at the beginning of the Pahlavi regime, they said,
listen, Mustafa, the land of Iran belongs to the Twelvers. They are the original owners of that land.
oh, the land of Iran belongs to a cult of Shiism? No, the land
Shiism.
Wait,
the land of
It's just a call.
They don't. The land of Iran does
actually,
not belong to Zionists.
Sunnis were the majority in that land long. For a period
Occupying
than the
a land
Shiites
that
were.
belongs to the Shias.
Why? Hold on. So when they were all Sunni, it didn't belong to them.
Iran has nothing to do with.
So before the Safavids, hold on. Wait, Zari. So before the Safavids, when they were all Sunnis, it didn't belong to them.
No, that's why the Safavids. They were.
Wow.
No, listen to me. The Safavids were also.
This is shit on Zionism right there,
19
bro.
years old, bro. She's 18, 19 years old.
No, you see how these 12ers are sometimes like they come out like Zionists, like they're just Shia Zionists. It's fucking insane, bro.
The Safavids were also Sunni, and they realized, like, shit, this is not our land. This is the Twelvers' land. We gotta give it to them back.
No, they were the ones who converted everybody to Shia.
The Safavids were Sunni.
The Safavids converted everybody. What are you talking about?
Yes, they were Sunni themselves, and they converted everyone to Shia because they realized.
Mustafa, we can't hear you. Please hang on a second. Let Benny go, man. Ben Mustafa.
No, I'm pretty sure the Safavids were Shia.
They were Sunni, bro. From Turkey, they were Sunni, and then they
hold on,
just because.
Hold on, Daddy. Shah Ismail Safavi was a staunch Shia.
Yeah, but originally they were Sunni, and they became Shia, and then, you know.
No, you're misconstruing.
But let me Google it, bro. Like, you guys are
talking about Allah
manipulating facts.
Mahili. You're talking about Allah Mahili, and that happened 200 years before the Safavid dynasty came in. It was a different Shah at that time, and he got a divorce from his wife, and then Allah Mahili basically converted him to Shia Islam because in the Sunni law, if you say talaq, you're basically divorced. In the Shia law, you need 2 witnesses, and Allah Mahili actually converted.
It depends on the school of jurisprudence, by the way.
I know. But basically, I'm not putting Sunnis down at all. I'm just saying that.
I'm just saying that the school of jurisprudence.
That is confusing the Safavid dynasty with an earlier dynasty. It was 200 years before that actually. The king turned into, a Shia thing, but he didn't enforce it.
But that was a starting point, Hadi. That was a starting point.
It was a starting point, but again, before the Safavids, there were the Buyid, were actually more Zaydian.
Anyway, Hadi, listen. There are certain lands around the world that belongs to Twelvers only. It's not just Iran.
That's not true.
Wait, hold on. Wait, Zari, let's explore this. What other lands outside of Iran belong to the Twelvers?
I don't know, like, you're smart. Think about it.
So, like,
Syria, I think. Syria.
Hold on.
We don't.
Hold on. There's the shrine of Sayyidatuna Zainab. It doesn't belong to the Twelvers?
No, that's fine.
Of course, that belongs to the Twelvers, right?
The land of Syria is.
No, I'm just saying, like, the shrine itself, that belongs to the Twelvers,
Yes.
right? Of course it does, yeah. My God.
This is called Zionism. This is Zionism.
100%. This is 12er Zionism.
Okay,
Zionism.
Crimea River.
She does not represent Wilayat al-Faqih in what she did. Wilayat al-Faqih has nothing to do with Islam.
Doesn't know anything about religion, man. Just leave it.
That's
just tough of it were Sunnis. Like, obviously she doesn't know.
Yeah, it's just your opinion.
Some people think, Like, I'm not saying that, yeah.
But anyway, how did they become Shias?
The Safavids were Shias, and then they forcefully converted a lot of people into Shias. They took over.
Oh, they forced it. Okay.
Oh yeah. There was a lot of force.
They weren't known for being nice.
No, they were fucking atrocious.
In fact, it was an antithetical government to the Ottoman Empire. To be honest,
yeah, exactly. No, they actually did it in order to build an opposition to the Ottomans.
Yeah. So Safavid Shiism is a political cult. Nothing to do with
up, bro. Do you have anything?
Yeah, but Safavid Shiism has nothing to do with the modern. Shiism is a political cult.
Well,
it's like Zionism.
They're the reason you have identity as Iranian, Mujtaba.
No, I have an
That's not
identity.
true. That's not true.
I mean, Moshtaba, if we're being honest, most of Tasawwuf is considered cultish to begin with. Your tariqas and everything, they're just their own cultic gifts.
Mujtaba is a Jewish.
There is abuse of Sufism as there is abuse of Shiism, as there is abuse of the Jewish religion as any other religion.
Yeah, there you go. So why are you being critical of Twelverism and all of it?
Because they have taken the country of Iran hostage against the will of 80% of the Iranian people.
Nobody held it hostage, Moshtaba. The Iranian people were in the streets. The Shah was a dictator. He didn't have
if the regime in Iran knew that it would be able to win a referendum, they would have held 10 referendums. But they know they are hated by the people of Iran by 80%.
You're fucking lying.
Therefore, they are doing exactly what Zionists wants. Zionism needs.
Which does why you say that? Like, you don't understand that, the regime in Iran has been there for 47 years, so that makes up 3 generations of Iranians grew up under IGC mentality. Supported by IGC.
There is a time.
2 million people, maybe 70.
Why are they afraid of a referendum if they're so popular?
That's your perspective.
Well, no, it's not my perspective. If they are so popular, if they're not hated by 80% of the Iranian people, why are they afraid of a referendum?
You're making up false statistics. Okay.
Moshtaba, so like, what's trend right now? We got Zionism in one end, and then you got
for the regime in Iran to become democratic and secular and don't fulfill the genocide.
We're not going to defeat our purpose. We're not going to defeat our religious purpose.
Okay, then what happens? What happens whenever Iran's become democratic and secular? Now what?
When the government of Iran becomes secular and democratic, then Zionism will not be able to say Muslims are savages.
They still will do that.
Well, they may do that, but they will not be able to think about
How is Iran's democracy going to stop Zionism from creating narratives against Iran?
Listen to me. Do you believe that the genocidal Netanyahu prefers Dr. Mossadegh in Iran or Khamenei?
So you want a puppet government?
Netanyahu hates all of them.
Puppet government. That's why he was overthrown by the CIA and MI6.
Moshtaba, I think Netanyahu hates all of them.
Yeah.
Netanyahu is a war criminal, genocide maker that has his wish fulfilled in the form of the Vilayat al-Faqih government.
No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. If it was under the Shah, he was going to weaponize Savak, that they Mossad trained them themselves, and
I was tortured by the Savak.
Okay, but you're not making any sense right now.
Yes, I do.
Do you think if he was a secular democracy, we wouldn't have heat on us? The fact that Iran nationalized its oil and said no to imperialism by nature already.
I am a Muslim against abuse of Islam by this regime to the benefit of the genocidal Zionism state.
It's not to the benefit of the Zionists. Blowing Zionists up right now. Which world do you live in?
Conspiracy theory. Need backup?
So what, you think Iran is a controlled opposition? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, Iran is what he meant. He said like Iran is being controlled by Zionists, and this Shias, like the government, Shias, they are.
The regime in Iran.
I've heard this conspiracy theory more than millions of times.
The regime in Iran and the genocidal regime in Israel need one another as enemy. They are interdependent.
Give me one example and one document that it says Iran is being ruled by Zionists, that they're getting infiltrated by the Zionists.
Ahmadinejad, for example. Why did Netanyahu say Ahmadinejad is the best thing that has happened to the
he was sus. But again, because one person in the government says something else, that doesn't mean the entire government ruling and getting infiltrated by them.
The regime stole the vote of Mir Hossein Mousavi and gave it to Ahmadinejad.
Again, conspiracy theorists.
Of Israel.
Again, because first off, you cannot back up that they were stealing the votes. Second of all,
yes,
when you
stole the vote, if they had not stolen the vote, they would have had a second internationally monitored elections in 19.
So you want every single country that they have an election, the international should come and monitor the election?
No, but we're talking about a government in Iran. I want a government that is loved by its own people as opposed to hated.
Not to let the international entity comes and then watch and monitor the election process.
No, there are ways of having a real clean election. But the regime in Iran...
And let's say hypothetically you're right, because we don't have the lawful election, that means that we are being infiltrated by that.
No, I am saying that you need the genocide.
You are reaching. You are connecting these different things. You are reaching.
Your regime needs the Netanyahu, the genocidal Netanyahu, as an enemy. Your regime was happy about the genocide of people in Gaza.
You're making no sense.
Yes, I am. And you know that.
Yeah, in your mind, yeah. But back in your conspiracy theory. I've heard that so many times.
You are a hypocrite.
How is he monarchic if his religious leader died for fighting for Palestinians?
Religious leader served Israel for 37 years.
You're bluffing right now. Mustafa, you're not making sense.
Yes, I am
contradicting yourself.
And you know it, and you...
So he served Israel for 47 years only to be killed by Israelis?
You are Haram Luqmeh Zari and Arash.
You're Kuni Mordayo.
You are Haram Luqmeh Zari and Arash.
Let's not curse at each other, please. Come on, Mustafa, you're old man. Zari she's very young.
This regime...
I'm 12 years old and you're 10.
I would have to kick you out of the room, bro. You have to be over the age of 18 to be in this room, bro.
I'm 18 and a half.
This regime is as Islamic. The regime in Iran is as Islamic as the genocidal regime.
Mustafa, I have a question for you. How many people inside Iran support the regime?
20%.
So what about the rest of the? Do you support the Pahlavi to come inside?
No. That traitor to Iran.
Yeah. So my question to you, the next question to you, Mustafa, is what is the solution?
The solution is a real election in Iran. The solution is a referendum where the people of Iran are asked in a free, real...
But if the regime doesn't want to leave, if the regime wants to be in there, how do you get rid of the regime?
The regime can be transformed if it was a must...
Are you open to being a reformist?
Let me answer your question.
Sure.
Question, let me answer it. I am not for regime change. I am for regime transformation.
Mm-hmm. Are you open to idea of being a reformist?
I am called a reformist. I am a supporter of Tajzadeh, who is in Evin prison to the delight of the genocidal Netanyahu. Mustafa Tajzadeh has been in Evin prison. Right now he's back in solitary confinement, and that's exactly what the genocidal Netanyahu loves.
Why is he in there?
For the regime in Iran to be so horrible.
He was the opposition to the current regime, right, Mustafa?
I am a non-violent opposition.
No, I'm talking about the guy that's in jail. He was opposition to the current regime, right?
No, he wasn't. He was part of the. He was a assistant minister of interior. He was.
Repeat after me, Mike, but I'm recall. Then I believe it.
I am sick and tired of death to this and death to that. That's a cult of death. The regime in Iran is a cult of death, as is Israel.
Mustafa, why did he get locked up? Mustafa, why did he get locked up?
Because he said the regime in Iran stole the vote from and gave to the puppet of Israel, the spy of Israel, Ahmadinejad, the vote of Mir Hossein Mousavi.
Ahmadinejad was his name is on Epstein files.
Well, I wouldn't be surprised, but he was a Zionist spy. He is a Zionist. And his votes were stolen in 2009. And Mir Hossein Mousavi is under house arrest for 15 years. And that's exactly what the regime, that's what the genocidal Israeli regime loves.
So right now, do you support the government, or are you do you support the government getting attacked by America?
Hell no. I am supporting the people in Iran, the soldiers of Iran that are resisting the savage attack by U.S. and Israel.
To be honest, I like your stance, but the thing is, you are going too far with the conspiracy theory. I'm also a reformist, to be honest, but I don't go too far saying like all of them are like spies or agents of.
Tell me what conspiracy theory? What conspiracy?
You're saying like the entire government, like getting infiltrated by the Zionism and the like the Zionist agents.
You don't listen to what I say. I am saying that the regime in Iran needs the genocidal regime in Israel as an enemy. Do you understand what that means?
So why
they don't need it. They have their own
plans. Relax. Take a chill.
People in Iran, you can be relaxed. I am in exile in the United States against my will, and the people of Iran are being bombed. Shame on you for being relaxed. Shame on you for not giving a damn about the country of Iran that is being.
You can make your point like you did, but you shouldn't be so angry at every single person.
Well, I care about human beings. Therefore, as a 68-year-old man with high blood pressure, I care about my Iran. I care about real Islam.
And I love that, but here's the thing: you shouldn't be.
Regime is
so pissed off. Because we're talking, no one makes. Look, listen, no one decision maker here in this room. We are all talking.
To the delight of the genocidal Netanyahu.
You don't get the point. I said we are not a decision maker here. We are all like here. We are talking.
So Mustafa. So Mustafa,
giving a conspiracy.
Hang on a second, brother. Hang on. So you're saying after the so-called war is over, right? You want them to set up a box and everybody chimes in and and let the people put in the ballot, right?
Yes.
And then if the majority of them don't support this regime, they need to go and then bring somebody else, right?
That's called a democratic transition.
Mm-hmm. Do you want the whole system overhaul, or do you want some parts? It's okay, they can stay.
The referendum. Look, the referendum can have several questions. One of them is whether the people want to maintain the current constitution and make reforms. Another question can be: Do you want this regime, the constitution, to be replaced by a democratic and secular constitution? And this is the people. It's the right of the Iranian people.
Said she was just a late-term abortion caused by starving a
do you want
future
somebody
American
from
citizen.
America? I mean, look, Reza Pahlavi, I don't know if you read his book.
And the Marbury doing everything.
I know. But hear me out. He wrote it in his book that he wants to be a transitional body. Do you believe him?
No, I don't. He is a Zionist traitor to Iran.
He's a Zionist puppet, yeah.
Yeah, he's a Zionist traitor to Iran who is doing exactly what the regime needs. The regime built him, this regime of Khamenei built the Reza Pahlavi in order to then suppress its own people in the name that you are a Zionist agent. And Netanyahu says, good job, Khamenei, we love you.
If they love them so much, why they kill them? They let them to rule the country, so they benefit them. It benefits them.
They need them as enemy. Apparently, you don't understand what Dr. Mossadegh said. Dr. Mossadegh said internal despotism and external colonialism.
You said they love to see that the Khamenei is in place, and then he's their puppet as the agent. So why they kill him? If everything was good?
Because they wanted Mojtaba Khamenei to come and take over. Because they need a monster. A new monster.
Wait, what?
A young.
They want to replace his son with his dad. They have the same agenda, same policy.
Wanted it into a monarchy.
Now you see you're not making sense now at this point.
When I tell the truth, you say I'm not making sense.
Almost because you're going too far with it.
Your lughme is haram, Arash.
I don't guess it's like that, almost you know, I'm probably with you when you are trying to say the despotic regime and I don't know, colonial powers are stranded or complementary and they feed each other. But you know, up until this point I'm with you, but when you enter to kind of fantasy world and the kind of they killed because they planned, and then it started to shake for me.
Exactly, you lost me there when you started this conspiracy theories.
7 was a planned operation of Israel. Israel created Hamas in order to turn the conflicts in the region into religious conflict.
So, Mustafa, are you saying, brother, are you saying that it was a plan of regime to, kill the leader, right?
They wanted, the regime under they had the Zionist puppet called Reza Pahlavi, told them that that regime is going to fall, and they knew that the regime was not going to fall. They wanted the criminal Netanyahu said for 40 years, I've been dreaming about attacking Iran, and he wanted to implement the last country in the region that has not been devastated.
So, hang on a second, Mustafa.
Because the criminal, the genocidal Netanyahu and his cult in Israel, they want to extend from the Nile River to the Euphrates River. In order to implement that plan, they needed to attack Iran. In order to attack it. And when they attacked Iran, they said, okay, Khamenei is going to go, but the purpose of Israel was to create a failed state in Iran.
Are we going to talk about the political between Israel?
Thank you for coming. Thank you, trolls. Sit in the audience like scumbags you are.
So
each one of them. So
Israel had wanted a failed state in Iran, and by killing Khamenei and replacing him by his son, they have created a failed state. And they want to implement a civil war.
Mustafa, hang on a second. Can you walk me through the steps? So, since when they've been planning to, get the leader assassinated? Like, say, how long? 5 years? 3 years? 1 year?
We have been talking. The genocidal Netanyahu has been dreaming about this for.
No, I'm talking about the regime. How did the regime decide that we gotta get him assassinated so we can get more, the ratings can go up? When did they decide? I'm talking about the Iranian regime.
Oh, the Iranian regime doesn't give a damn about the ratings. The Iranian
why would they get him assassinated? I mean, they're working with Israel?
I'm saying that the regime in Israel needed Khamenei to be killed in order to strengthen the worst of that regime, the right-wingers in that regime, so that they would begin a civil war.
So here's the thing, Mustafa. So I want to debunk your argument. So let's say we would see like a regime change, and then Khamenei or Mossadegh are not going to be in power. How are they going to?
I want regime transformation. They don't want regime change.
So let's say it happened, like overnight, people come to the street and they do the regime change.
No.
So that was so risky for them.
I don't want that. This criminal regime in Iran loves to massacre its own people to the delight of the genocidal Netanyahu.
Bro, what you're saying, like, you want, because you say, first of all, like, the Khamenei is an agent, and then you say Mustafa is also an agent, but they started a war that could lead to a regime change. So why they want to take this risk?
Khamenei regime needs the genocidal regime in Israel as an enemy. Do you understand what that means? That's what Dr. Mossadegh said.
Mossadegh said something else. It is about colonialism and internal despotism, and that applies. Yes, these two perpetually feed each other and create a vicious cycle that makes a kind of complementary dualism and kind of despotism and colonialism, especially in the developing world. It's a true relationship, but then the territory that you take, or you take this out of context, bro. You are saying I'm a little bit lost to make sense of it. Like, I didn't get that Khamenei made Israel, or Israel made Khamenei, and then Israel told Khamenei to be killed. You're losing me at some point, you know.
Okay, let me explain. Okay, and I'll try to.
It's always like that.
Yeah. Central Princess, the drive.
Hey, I'm wondering if you could explain the title to me. Hello? 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 Yeah, can you explain the title of the room to me? Hello?
Yeah, what's going on?
Hello?
Doing, buddy?
I ain't your buddy, pal.
You running for mayor?
Running for mayor. And you got your title backwards. Earth is the non-duality. Hello?
Oh, you running for mayor? Huh?
Come May 1st, I'll be a candidate for mayor of Chicago. Hello?
You said Earth is non-duality. No, I doubt that.
Oh, so it means Earth is duality. Okay, sure. If you say so. That's why I asked if anybody could explain why Earth is duality, but nobody could do it because it's a little challenging. But you were close, but it's actually the opposite. Earth is non-duality. Hello? Well, all you got to know is that non-duality versus duality. Everybody thinks that the non-duality is a gnosis, but the real non-duality is just the way things are, your everyday life. So the enlightenment is just opening up a Coca-Cola and having a chicken shawarma sandwich. Hello?
Well, that's the easy answer, but not the accurate answer. But it's the popular. Yeah.
I mean, it's everything. It's before you go to sleep and you jerk off and then you go to sleep. Like, it's a lot of things. It's not just one thing. It's a lot of things.
I did. Came in here all one. Son, you be attracting some of the most, boy.
Son.
What the hell?
Oh my God.
Son, he came in here at you.
Big kick person.
Hey,
Yeah, we took Swindle's stride.
Put that in these heads. Oh my.
Yeah, we did. Swindle's a bitch, yeah. Y'all scared of a nigga named Gregory. Gregory.
Y'all took Swindle's stride.
Yeah, a nigga named Gregory. His name not Swindle, so his name is Gregory, bro.
What? I'm not the only motherfucker that put your shit.
Yeah, I ain't never been.
Bitch, get your weak
Oh, yeah.
You got some.
But here's the stuff. But here's the weird thing is a lot of people don't realize this about Latin America. So when it comes to the rhythm and and the percussion. So a lot of Latin American music, you guys might not realize this if you don't know much about music, but it's like I'm kind of making a sound you can't you can't tell why does that sound unique, but it's like they call them like terceros, the way the drum pattern goes with the kick and the snare drum, and how they play the chords, which will often be percussion instruments in between the beats, and you get so for example, if you look at Mexican music, you look at Caribbean music, even South American.